But you can, Pete, do you have any information you want to share with us about the contest?
Not really, not really. So tabletop, it's just real quick. You all get the same topic. You just don't get to listen to each other unless you're first. And we talk about how the international speech is just sort of any speech that you want to give that you think is a good one.
And Stacy just joined us, which is wonderful. Thank you. Virginia, can you respond with a simple yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, you can, and the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
All right.
100% yes.
Super. Stacy, that means you were just voted in as our newest Toastmaster member. So if you wouldn't mind stepping up here, I will read the Toastmasters promise to you, and then at the very end, if you adhere to all these, you can say I do. All right. Stacy, as a member of Toastmasters International and Glendive Noon Toastmasters Club 9941, do you promise to attend club meetings regularly, to prepare speech and leadership projects to the best of your ability, basing them on projects in the competent communication and advanced communication or competent leadership manuals, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow, to serve the club as an officer when called upon to do so, to treat fellow club members and guests with respect and courtesy, to bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters memberships offer, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmaster educational and recognition programs, to maintain honest and highly ethical standards during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities. Stacy, if you adhere to these promises, please respond. I do.
I do.
All right, thank you, Stacy. All right, we have our newest member. And Stacy, just to recap, we were talking about a local contest that we're going to have within our club. It will be next month, and we'll talk about this contest at our next coming meeting, so you'll get more information on that. And then Pete always puts out this wonderful schedule, and I don't know if it's smaller or if it's me, but I had a heck of a time reading it this month. And then up above, sometimes he'll put notes on there, which is wonderful information to share with us. And in there, he did say that there's opportunities to help with the contest, so if you have any questions on that, please feel free to ask Pete. And then on this schedule, it has the little code as far as what, like TM, that means Toastmaster, S is for speech, and you'll have these dates on here, and it'll have our duties on there. So that's always nice. If you have questions at any time, ask me, ask any of the members. And if you're ever ready to give a speech, just let Pete know, and he'll get you on the schedule, or if you're not ready, we'll work with you. And what's nice is a lot of times, if somebody's scheduled for something comes up, they're not at the meeting, we all work together and we just jockey things around and get everybody scheduled. So, all right. Jim, you were at the chamber banquets the other night. How was that?
I was. Madam Toastmaster, I hadn't thought about that. We need Toastmasters and more people than just who are in this room. That was my first observation. It went well. The awards went to very worthy recipients. If you follow on Facebook, the chamber has posted the individuals who received the various awards. I had a table that I've manned for probably 6 or more years, Peggy, and we had our logo up there, our lectern, applications, talked to a couple people, and always the politicians at the last minute come in and say, I really think I probably should join your club, but that has never happened. I always give them a crash course, and just out of courtesy. But I thought it went well, but it just was one of those illustrations of more people need Toastmasters.
Definitely.
Who was Mr. 42? Was that the speaker, Mr. 42? Who is that? Were you the?
Oh,
Commencement?
Mr. October
October, okay.
was, what's his name?
Reggie Jackson.
Up at the airport, Daryl Sackman.
Oh, okay.
And he was very entertaining. Questionable choice of topic, but very entertaining.
All right, and today's Toastmaster is Peggy Iba. She looks so sweet and all ready for Valentine's. Please welcome Peggy Iba.
Well, happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. In fact, my husband, I think, thinks Valentine's Day is a advertising plot, really. But it has been around for a long time. Actually, cards started in about the 1850s or so. Cards started being sent to people, and nowadays there's 1 million Valentine cards that are sent. 85% of them by women. To others. Today we have a busy schedule, so I better get started on it. And our general evaluator is Rochelle Standish, and I'm going to have her come up and introduce her team. And while she's getting up here, our speeches today will be by Melody Keller, and she's got 8 to 10 minutes. She'll be at the end. Jim Squires will be first, and Nancy Korb, hopefully we can put them all in, will be second.
Thank you, Peggy. Today, the evaluation team will consist of Pete as our timer, and our 3 speech evaluators will be Alan for Melody, Pete for Nancy, and Donna for Jim's speech. Today, the WAG is Virginia. Do you have a word of the day?
Yes, I do. I wrote it out. I didn't realize I was the way to have a word of the day, so I just wrote it out myself.
Oh, I think we
On Valentine's Day, being that's tomorrow, what is Valentine's Day for? Do you think? It's love, loving others, and that's basically what it is. And I think that's what we should have in our hearts anyway, is to care more for others than what we do at times. Even if they're nasty to us, we are to be kind to them and care for them on Valentine's Day and every day of the year. Thank you.
Virginia will also serve as our counter and grammarian today. And so we can just get going with our meeting. I will hand the meeting back over to the Toastmaster.
Our first speaker today is Jim Squires. Jim serves as our Area 26 governor, and he is going to do an overview of his mid-year officers training. He did part of that last week, I guess, to the executive board, and he will be presenting to Mouse City, or maybe he has last week in Mouse City on Monday, and he'll be in Williston next Wednesday to present to them. So we're right in the middle, and his time is
6 to 8.
6 to 8 minutes. So please help me welcome Jim Squires with 4 questions for Area 26 Toastmasters clubs.
Thank you. And we are live. I'm going to stand over here to the side and stay out of view. This emphasis on mid-year training is something that is, I think, a very positive event. And as I put this together, I chose to come up with the 4 questions. And you'll see them numbered here, sort of straight. What can we do to strengthen our clubs? And I have these already lined out. We have done most of these. We have updated the addendum in the bylaws, passed that, filled in the blanks, got that straightened out, and met as a club to discuss each of those blanks, adopted the agreements, and recorded them with Toastmasters International. The second thing we can do is induct new members, and we have just witnessed that with the induction of Tracy. Recognize them with the Toastmasters oath and a reading. And as was done just before Stacy came in, read the member agreement, or in part, read the member agreement and release on the back of the application. And then take the Toastmasters promise. Continuing with that thought, participation in the distinguished Club Award Program really is something that helps build clubs, gives us goals. Now, there has been a change. It used to be that you needed a minimum of 6 members to even be eligible to participate in the Distinguished Club Award. That is being raised to 8 members. Do the club success plan as another key element of this. That's where we line out who are going to be the first 2 CCs, who will do 2 additional CCs, who will do advanced leader, and the variety of things that count toward the Distinguished Club program. And then review club leader roles and responsibilities every year. This club has been very good. Pete really got that going here a few years back, where we actually sat down sometime. Don't worry about copies of this, folks, because you're all going to get a copy. But I'm not going to unless you look at the paper until afterwards. So if you're an officer, you'll actually receive a packet. If you are not an officer, you will receive this PowerPoint presentation. Anyway, Pete got us going, and what we do each year in May or June is to review what worked, where we need improvement, and just take a good close look at the success of the past year. That's been very effective. This club has been very good about maintaining and participating in speech contests. That is an additional opportunity for people to develop their presentation skills in the 4 areas of table topics, evaluation, international speaking, and humorous speaking. And then offer a speechcraft course. According to Dave Scadam, who is in our trio, the top 3 people in the district officer position, Speechcraft took the Livingston group from 5 members dying to 30 members strong. And they did it in about a 4-month period of time. They really did a crash course, and we copied part of that this last year in the summer months. Rochelle was part of that, where you just make a concerted effort in order to get as many speeches in as you can, and complete your CC. Complete 10 speeches in a very short period of time. What can we do to strengthen officers? Well, the first I've already mentioned, that of reviewing the leader roles and responsibilities, and then do what Alan and some of you others have been doing speeches. We call them canned speeches. They're really just someone else's outline or PowerPoint or PDF, and you take it from there and you present those. Those, I think all of us have reacted very positively when those of you, Alan in particular, and I don't recall who else it was, Donna, didn't you do one? Those have been very well received. Those really do help strengthen a club and the officers. Now, even though it's tiny, the trick is you print that sideways. You don't print it like vertically. Pete, you've got the best notice in the whole area. There's not a club around that does it any better than our VP of Ed does, as far as notifying people, scheduling people. Everything is on there. Not only the name, but the mentor is in brackets, the goals for the current year, and then the various activities that are scheduled for a month out, basically. Nobody does it better than you do, Pete. I'm grateful for that. Now, third question, what can we do to strengthen our meetings? Those agendas, as we've just seen on that notice that we get. And then having separate business meetings from the regular meetings. That really allows us to focus on speaking when we need to focus on speaking, and on planning when we need to focus on planning. Theme meetings. I don't know about the rest of you, but I absolutely loved the table topics marathon that we did here a couple of weeks ago. That was fun. Some of us got to speak many more times than others because of the time, but that was fine in too. And then the next thing is, all the speeches should be manual speeches. Now here I am standing up here. I'm being the hypocrite this morning because I forgot my book as well. I don't even know where I want this speech to count. So this might be after the fact. I make mistakes. That's a confession. The fourth question is, what can we do to strengthen speakers? Work the program. Do the manuals. Participate in speech contests. That will put you in a position where, oh my goodness, I never dreamt that I would ever stand up in front of a group in a contest and do a table topics or an evaluation or, heaven forbid, an international speak or the ultimate, the humorous contest. Attend the spring convention in Bismarck. That's coming up. I have the insert in the packet that is the registration form for that. And then use the international website, the TI website, for instructional material. They are adding MP4 or other type of video clips weekly. I don't know how many there are now, but I mean every aspect of public speaking is now covered in video clips. That has really grown so much. You need to you need to sign in and have access your password and let's see, your username and password. Get the right terminology here. YouTube is another huge source of free material. Darren LaCroix, world champion, another David Brooks, Craig Valentine, all those have YouTube videos that are excellent instructional material. And then there's a lot of proprietary materials that you can buy. This statement was made a couple of years ago, and it's never left my mind. You don't get out of Toastmasters until you've gotten out of Toastmasters everything that you can get out of Toastmasters. Just quickly in closing, here is where the organization as a whole is. This particular Venn diagram illustrates the point of the fact that we have new technologies. We have our foundation of the current books that we have, and then we have a team of people who are really trying to put this thing together. And the whole goal is to end up with a revitalized education program. That program, when it comes out later this year, will in fact allow a person to start at the level they've already achieved. Instead of starting in kindergarten, if you are already an accomplished speaker, and many people come to Toastmasters in that way, this will allow you to pick up and run from where you begin. It's kind of a pre-test. Here's what we'll work on, and then we'll go from there. That's an overview of those 4 questions that I am presenting to the various clubs. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Jim. And we're looking forward to the handout because that was a lot of information too. So, okay. Well, a little bit more on Valentine's Day, since that's our word of the day. What do farmers give their wives for Valentine's Day? It's a joke, I think. Farmers. Hugs and kisses. Okay, our next speaker. Oh, by the way, the candy on the table is for you to help yourself with, so make sure that disappears before the end of our hour. Our next speaker is our second to the newest speaker, and that's Nancy Cord, and she's giving a speech on an email she got recently that was entitled, What Advice Would You Give to Your Younger Self? She's working on her 4th project in the Confident Communicators Manual. Her speech will be 5 to 7 minutes long, and every word of her speech is to add value, meaning, and impact vividly. So please help me welcome Nancy Cord.
Fellow Toastmasters, I recently received a cute little email. It says, what advice would you give your younger self? That's a pretty interesting subject, isn't it? I couldn't wait to open up that email just to see what they had to say about it. I opened it up. The very first thing it says is, let go of expectations. Well, that was was pretty interesting, all right. I have a lot of expectations of myself. I have a lot of expectation of other people's. And I'm sure a lot of people have expectations of me. I also read a book recently. It was called Life Isn't a Dress Rehearsal. In that book, it mentions that people expect a lot of us. We expect a lot of ourselves. Sometimes those expectations aren't always what we have in mind for ourselves, but other people have this in mind for us. Maybe you're thinking, well, I expect my kids to go to college. I do not care. They are going to go to college. Well, some kids just are not college material. Some kids maybe go to college, maybe get C's, D's, when they need A's and B's to become a physician, a doctor, a dentist. Maybe we're putting too much pressure on other people. Maybe our expectations are not what they should be. Maybe we just need to let go of some expectations. The second one was compliment others. Well, I thought that was pretty neat. I go to work the next morning and, oh, I'm all fired up. I'm complimenting my staff all over the place. Well, it was probably not the greatest thing in the world. Because one thing I said to my staff was, man, you sure have on nice shoes today. Guess what? That person has worn the same shoes probably for the last 3 years. And they were willing to share that little story with me. And I thought, oh boy, maybe I wasn't watching. Or maybe my words were not chosen as carefully as what they should have been. The email sounded great, and I had great intentions, but my compliments were just a little bit too short. They also mentioned something called knowing one's worth. I think we all should know what we're worth. And I agreed with that email. I mean, when was the last time I bounced my checkbook? Well, I tried it. Maybe twice in my whole lifetime. If you asked me how much money I had in the bank, I couldn't even tell you. I have a sufficient idea of the exact amount. Oh shoot, if the bank wanted to, they probably could take $200-300 out of my account. I wouldn't know. I don't really actually look that well at stuff like that. And I think, oh my gosh, I'm falling short again. The email was just terrific. It pointed out so much. But at the same time, I really don't know what I'm actually worth. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I better dig out that bank statement and kind of look at stuff. So I went through my bank statement and I looked at stuff. Oh yeah, I knew that. Well, I didn't know the exact amount. And if you ask me again what the exact amount is, I still don't know. And knowing one's worth is not just knowing what you're worth, but knowing what other things that are besides your worth. Maybe some of your benefits at work. Maybe some of the things that you need when you get to retirement age. Do you actually know what you're all worth? Yeah, sadly to say, yeah, it goes to benefits, health care that Stacy puts on. Oh boy, I hope she doesn't ask me this question right after the meeting again. Because guess what? I have 2 policies up here. I know that one is worth, from savings, maybe $155,000. Next one maybe about $52,000. But I certainly didn't know until I tried to take money out of one to buy a house. I couldn't even do it. You have to be 70 years of age in order to do that. I didn't know my own worth. And so I thought, well, maybe this is something else that is really good advice to say to my younger self if I just remembered some things. And thinking and acting on passions, education, eating habits, and grace yes, we all like to think that we act on our passions. We all would like to think that maybe if I told my younger self, maybe I just need a little bit more education. But then I started looking in the paper, and I thought, I don't need any more stress in my life. I look at the college president, and I think, man, he's making good money. I wished I had his education. Oh boy. And then I looked underneath, and I thought, I wouldn't want his job. No way in a million years could you give me that job. You couldn't even force me to do that thing. So my advice to you is, think about, what would you like to give your younger self? If you had any advice to give, what would those words be? Pay attention to everything around you. Listen to what others have to say. Maybe something will trigger you today to think, oh yeah, maybe now this is the time to think about. It's not too late to give myself advice. Thank you.
No one would ever guess that you have just started being a Toastmaster. You're excellent, and what a lot of good advice. And I'm sure to somebody you're worth the world. So all of us, I think, are worth the world to somebody in our lives. That was great. Do skunks celebrate Valentine's Day? Of course they do. They're sentimental.
Wasn't that?
Well, maybe it was, I don't know. She did refer to me as a paragraph.
All right, Melody's our next speaker. Is this a good time or
Yeah,
not?
I'm just gonna pass her off and.
Oh, yes, and we have a million volunteers, well, not a million, but we have plenty of volunteers. I'd be glad to be.
All right, and then I need to switch to the other end because I need to use the whiteboard.
And we're going to be looking this way for this speech because you'll need the whiteboard, so you'll need to switch around.
All right.
Melody's giving the last speech in the Competent Communicator Manual, and she's speaking today to inspire you to live in freedom, financial freedom, to allow you to live to the fullest. Her title is Live in Freedom, and it will be 8 to 10 minutes long.
And then. How would you like to live in financial freedom? Have the ability to do whatever it is that you want to do, to be able to retire with dignity, to put your kids through college, to bring home your entire paycheck, minus the part the IRS takes, of course, but to not have to turn around and write checks out, just change the name on your paycheck and send it to somebody else, to not live month to month, to have extra money left. Let me tell you a story of what you can do with some of that money. My sister and her husband just adopted a baby. It's not official yet, the baby was born yesterday, but they paid off all their debt several years ago, so that allows them the financial freedom to do this. They also had the financial freedom to help out my folks when they were in trouble by housing them for several years. They helped to pay for my wedding, and this is all because they have the money to do that because they're not in debt. They were able to manage what God had given them in a wise fashion. So now we're all really excited that their dreams are coming true because they have the money to be able to support that. So how is this possible? And how can you do that too? It's really very easy. There are 7 basic steps called the baby steps. And I'm going to go over those, the first 2 in detail, but I'll give you all 7 of them. The first one is have a baby emergency fund of $1,000. Step 2 is the debt snowball. Step 3 is to have a fully funded emergency fund. Step 4 is to invest 15% of your income into retirement. Step 5 is to pay for college. Step 6 is to pay off your mortgage early. And step 7 is to build wealth and give. Now, I don't have time to go into all of those, There's actually a class that's 9 weeks long that goes into detail on these. It's Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace class. I just want to elaborate on the first two because those are the most important steps for most people. So your baby emergency fund should be $1,000. You want to get this in the bank as fast as you can. And you want to keep it out of your checking account. You want to have a separate account for this so that it doesn't accidentally go towards, say, a new couch, which is not exactly an emergency. This is for when your brakes need replacing and you weren't expecting it, or your water heater blows up and you have to call the plumber, and things like that. Most of your day-to-day emergencies aren't going to cost you more than $1,000, and if you have the cash to pay for it, you won't have to pull out your credit card, go deeper in debt to bail yourself out of an emergency that, well, let's just face it, everybody's going to have a financial emergency at some point. So have the $1,000. Second step is the debt snowball, and this is where it gets really interesting. So let's say you have a total of $20,000 in debt. You have a $500 medical bill with a payment of $50 a month, a $2,500 Visa bill with a payment of $63 a month, a $7,000 car loan, excuse my bad handwriting here, with a payment of $135 a month, and a $10,000 student loan. Wish mine was that small. With payment of $96 per month. Now, we've listed the debts out in order from smallest to largest. We are ignoring the interest rates. Financially, it might make more sense to pay those off earlier, but if we were worried about financial sense, we wouldn't be in debt. We wouldn't have this. So the point is to change your behavior. You can pay these off in order and feel like you're making real progress when you pay off a debt. So the first step, and it could be another speech of its own, is budgeting. It really isn't the bad word that it sounds like. It's a plan for spending your money so that you know you're telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. So, and you can make it however you want it. It's not rigid. You just have to figure out what works. And it does take some practice. I've been doing it for a couple of years and I'm still not perfect at it. So, imagine you've got a budget, you've taken a look at it, and you can cut your lifestyle down, skip the restaurants, skip the movies, do things at home, so you can squeeze an extra $500 a month out of your budget. So what you'll do then is take that $500 and add it to the minimum payment here, so you'll have a payment of $550. I'm going to move over to this side. You can pay that first bill off in less than a month. So that's 1 month. Next month, you take the $550 here, add it to the minimum payment on the Visa bill, and you're paying $613 towards your Visa bill. You'll get that paid off in about 4 months. In the meantime, you're making the minimum payments on the rest of these. Once this Visa bill is paid off, you take that $613, add it to your $135 car payment, and all of a sudden, you're making a $748 payment a month. You'll get that car loan paid off in 10 months. The $10,000 student loan, all of a sudden, now you have $844. Wow, sideways crooked. And you can pay that off in about a year or just a little bit over. So let's see here, 10 months, 12 months. So you're completely out of debt in just a little over 2 years. Now you can accelerate that by using extra money that you find or get bonuses at work and just put it towards whatever step you're on. But all of a sudden, your debt is gone and you have an extra $844 a month that you don't owe to anybody. What could you do with an extra $850 a month? That's pretty impressive. I'll tell you what you do. You move on to step 3. Step 3 is to build up your fully funded emergency fund. And what you want in that is 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. So for most people with average incomes, that's going to be probably about $10,000 to $15,000. That's going to take some time to build up and save towards, but then just think, if all of a sudden you need a new car, your car dies, or there's a car accident, or your kid needs braces, or there's a sudden injury and you have medical deductibles to pay, you've got that rainy day fund. Your grandma was right. That's a good way to do it. Then you don't have all the bills. You can just pay it and restock your emergency fund once you're past the emergency. Or say you lose your job. You've got money to live off of. You just cut your lifestyle back and be ready to go. So it's pretty impressive what you can do. Steps 4 through 6, which are, again, investing 15% of your income, paying for college for your kids, and paying off your mortgage early, you can do all of those simultaneously. And if you don't have a house, saving for a down payment is kind of step 3B. So you can do all of those things and make progress towards your goal. The most fun one is number 7, to build wealth and give. How nice would it be to retire with a few $1 million? And it's really not that hard. Dave Ramsey talks a little bit more about that and how that actually can work. And you can do cool things like buy free cars. Make yourself a car payment, save up, and work your way slowly up to new cars. Then start a mutual fund, and in about, 10 years, give or take, you can be buying a new car every 5 years with the interest off of what you've put into a mutual fund. And all of a sudden, cars are no longer an issue. You're getting them for free instead of paying the bank and dragging the book behind you. There's a whole video on this on Dave Ramsey's website. I encourage you to check it out. It's really cool. So, in all, it's 7 simple steps. They're simple. It's not easy. It takes some work, and it's worth it. Can you imagine what it would feel like to step out of your backyard onto the lawn and know you actually own that patch of ground? You don't have to pay anybody for it. That frees up a whole nother amount of money. You can invest in yourself. You can give it away. You can do whatever you need to do with it. I'd encourage you. It's possible. You can do it. Thousands of people have done it and continue to do it. You can do it, and you'll be glad you did.
Well, that was a bonus. Thanks for that great financial advice. I am not sure that we have time for table topics today, so we'll go right to Rochelle to call on her team of the speech evaluators.
Okay, and also if everyone wants to fill out their ballots and pass them over to Virginia, she can count up everyone's ballots and let us know who won. So today, evaluating Jim's speech will be Donna. And then maybe should I just, since we're so close on time, I'll just go through all the evaluators and then, so first evaluating Jim will be Donna, and then Nancy's evaluator will be Pete, and Melody's evaluator will be Alan, if you guys want to just go in that order.
Thank you, Rochelle. Jim, you did a great presentation. I don't have an official evaluation form, but if you get one, I will fill it out for you. I will keep my notes. Great PowerPoint. You always do an excellent job with PowerPoint, and I know you said you have the ability to give a class on PowerPoint, and that's something that I would like to learn about. What I liked about your PowerPoint, your slides had a lot of great information for us to read and follow along, but you didn't rely on them. They were just solely there for our benefit, so you did a great job on that. You did say that you had a copy of information for us. I'm looking forward to getting that. I liked the fact that you said we had to wait until after the presentation was over. Otherwise, we probably would have been flipping through them, so that was a very good thing to do that is after the fact. The speech craft course, that is definitely something I think our club should do. You mentioned another club out there. In 4 months alone, they over doubled their membership. So I think that would be something that us as officers and as a club would benefit a lot from. I liked all of the suggestions on all of your topics on how to strengthen not only the club, but the officers, the members in general, and all of us as speakers. You had very good suggestions on all of those. You mentioned that everyone can benefit from Toastmasters, even very accomplished speakers, and that at times they can start out rather than in kindergarten, they can come in at their level, so that's great. What I liked best, I think, out of your speech, which I liked it all, but the quote, don't get out of Toastmasters until you've gotten all that you can get out of Toastmasters. So very great speech, and I am looking forward to the printout. So thank you, Jim.
Wow, what improvement. Couldn't find anything in your word use except one time you said compliments too short, and I think you meant fall, but then later on you got it in. So since that was something I commented to work on to improve last time I had a chance to talk, congratulations, well done. So everything in this speech was otherwise excellent. The longest word, expectation. You were to use short, simple, clear words. And what I really, really, really liked was the way you used words about yourself that got us to examine ourselves with the strategies that you use, the rhetoric that you use. So very well constructed speech. Also, the series of key words that you used at the end expanded our ability to introspect while we followed you down that journey that you gave us on this speech on how to say it, which really was to look at your use of words. So a lot of improvement and a lot of cause for us to reflect on ourselves. Well done, accomplishing not only your goals, but one of the reasons we come to meetings, and that's to learn and grow. Thank you.
Melody just finished her last speech in her Competent Communicator Manual, and I must say, Melody, you've come a long ways from your icebreaker speech to now. You've just become a wonderful speaker, an effective speaker, and I commend you for that. Well, the question was the speech topic relevant to the occasion selected? Absolutely. Did the speaker understand and express the feelings and needs of the audience? Absolutely. Everybody needs to budget their money, or when you quit work, you won't have any money to live on. So yeah, absolutely. Was the speaker forceful, confident, and absolutely, you were confident. You did not use any notes. I am so impressed with that. That blows me away how you were able to remember all those numbers and figures and without any notes. Awesome job. Did the speaker effectively use stories, anecdotes, or quotes? I did not see or hear any quotes or stories unless I wasn't listening close enough. Did the speaker convey strong, vivid mental images? Absolutely. Step out onto your green grass and know that you own the ground. What a strong and vivid image. I like that a lot. Speaker used body language to enhance her message. Absolutely. When you were making your point, you opened up your eyes, and that made your point that much more strong. And you had great hand gestures, good eye contact, and things of that nature. Did the speaker uplift the audience and motivate them to be, as the speaker intended? Absolutely, yes. Being debt free, what a wonderful feeling, and absolutely that speech motivates me to use that snowball trick to budgeting your money. I thought that was a good idea. So all in all, can't really find anything that you could really improve on. I know we were strive to give one thing that you could maybe improve on. I can't offer any more suggestions for improvement because you nailed this speech wonderfully. Thank you.
And at this time, I'd like to call on Pete for his timers report. Pete, sorry.
Thank you. Jim's speech, 8:52. Nancy's 6:37. and Melody's 8:30. Speech evaluations, Donna 1:38, Pete 1:32, Alan 2:13. So everyone was in their time limits.
Thank you, Pete. Virginia, are you ready with your grammarian report and your counter report?
I think so. For the counter? Well, for the word of the day, Peggy was the only one I heard use the word of the day, Valentine's Day. And repeats, Jim had 6 ahs and 5 repeats. And Donna had 1 repeat, or 1 ah that I noticed. And that's it. And Pete and Alan both got the same number for voting as the best evaluators. And Melody got the most votes for being the best speaker.
Okay. I'll just bring your best speaker. Thank you. So when there's a tie on the evaluations,
The evaluators.
okay.
Oh, I didn't give you my.
Who'd you vote for? Pete,
Oh,
then
right.
Pete would get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bring this over when I come back. Yeah. So for the general evaluation, I just want to say that all of the evaluators did a really good job being positive and offering helpful and constructive feedback to all of the speakers. It's always nice to hear how well you did speaking and not feel bad if you made any mistakes. So it's always nice that the evaluators take that into consideration. As for the meeting overall, I think we started on time. We went over the new member and Stacy was sworn in, and the only thing I think that we haven't done in a really long time, and maybe I missed a meeting, is the invocation. And I didn't know if we had those sheets, if we decided to quit doing that, or if we're just gonna just do the pledge and then go right into the meeting, was the only thing that I kind of wondered about. So other than that, everyone had a good speech. The evaluators gave really excellent evaluations, and I think what's important is we probably all learned something today from every single one of the speeches, so that's always a good meeting. So thank you. Thank you.
Great job, great meeting. And I'm going to turn it over to our president again in case there's any last minute things, but we'll end with knock knock.
Who's there?
Olive.
Olive.
Olive, you.
Thank you, Peggy. I thought this was a great meeting, and I appreciate the fact that Rochelle, which did a great job as general evaluator, also mentioned about the Toastmasters mission, and I too like reading the Toastmasters mission. So next week when we're set up, we will be sure to have those on the table because it is a great reminder for all of us. And our next meeting, which is the 20th, will be in the boardroom. That's all I got to say.
And it's a speechathon, and everyone who's eligible to give a speech, including Mark, may give a speech next time. So it's speeches, speeches, speeches.
All right, thank you, great meeting. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day.
You're welcome.
I have one son who is a Dave Ramsey fanatic.
I should have said in there, I quoted Dave Ramsey quite a bit, but I didn't credit him like I meant to, and so.
So that's possible, you know, suggestions.
Yeah.
Almost a year. But when I first started school,
Oh my,
I had a
my son buys those
communications class and
books
we
and
had
has
classes
I
every day.
taught FPU three times financial history.
And I don't have to for a class.
Excellent, excellent.
it's a really good class.
Well, it works.
It does.
You know, I've practiced it for the last 35 years or so, and I tell you what, you know, that was so much fun.
I think I just read that.
It was part of the disc
But
golf.
I saw your name down next to mine. So
Yes, so I'm your mentor.
yeah, what does that look like?
Yeah, it does.
I got mine
Kind of go
in the
through
mail.
yours, and if you have any questions, which you can call me, email me, whatever, I'll answer your questions.
Oh, that would have been great. You know, I was
And
going to close with, I forgot my
you
close,
did get
since
your
I
manual?
live like
Okay.
no one else.
And then I
so
think the
Okay,
first one
but you know,
from there is
you
just kind of your
got something, you know,
introduction.
that
Yeah.
you
And
could
just,
pick on that,
that's just
and
a-
I would say,
But yeah, that would have been a
Thank you.
good one.
And just kind of an icebreaker
yeah, there's another one I left here a week or two ago.
Okay, and I gave it to David.
and anything goes. I know Lacey, she did hers and she broke it down into the different names that people call her, and I thought that was kind of cool. Other people just kind of tell us, you know, who they are, what they do, Glendive Toastmasters.
Okay. So I'll type it all